What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. This goes out to everybody who is doing their best to fight the good fight, man. Everybody who is consciously doing it the right way. And even if you just doing it, you aren't really paying attention to whether you're doing it the right way, but you're doing it right just because that's how you naturally roll. Um, Sad but true, people get punished and penalized for doing good, man. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I know some of y'all will relate to this, it's not to say that any of us are perfect. Nobody is perfect. Nobody walks this earth living a holy life and just it's without flaw and without error and without making mistakes. But when you have somebody who's doing everything they can, he's a good father, he's a good provider, she's a good mother, good provider, good person. You don't seek to scam and mess over people. None of that. You try your best to treat people the way that you would want to be treated, and you try not to do things to folks that you wouldn't want them to do to you. All this good stuff, all these categories, right? But for some reason, you seem to be the one that always gets treated like you are the worst thing to ever stand on 2 feet. And that's a tough thing to deal with when you deal with people who seem to not have a grasp and understanding of your true intentions. So the saying goes where people will say, "Hey man, well look man, I ain't got to argue with you man. God know my heart." That's a fact. God does know our heart, and we have to lean on that sometimes when you're dealing with people who either don't know your heart, so they misinterpret your moves as you doing something to them, or you're dealing with people who absolutely know your heart. They know the type of person you are. They know you're a good person, but they still try to twist that around. They try to manipulate that to make you to get more out of you, or to make you feel like you're not doing enough. And I know what some of y'all might be thinking. Some of y'all are saying, "Well, man, what you expecting a reward for doing the stuff that you're supposed to do? You shouldn't expect a reward for doing the things you're supposed to do." No, no, that's not where I'm going. Um, even though, like I said, I know some people may think that because that's been the old saying. Like, just say if you see a man bragging on the fact that he's never run out on his children, he takes care of them, and somebody says, "Oh, that's what you're supposed to do." Yeah, that's cool, but the reason why that gets magnified and glorified in some instances is because there are a lot of other instances where it's not happening. So when something that is natural, that is supposed to be the norm, um, becomes abnormal, when the opposite becomes the norm, when the right thing, so now when the right thing does happen, it kind of looks foreign, but people still say, "What's the big deal?" But people will get used to your good works. They will get comfortable with all of the things that you do um, for them, and now it becomes an entitlement. It becomes an expected thing, like, "Oh, you're supposed to do this, hey man, hey," and it could be something you've been doing for a while. So now the reasoning becomes, "Well, you've been doing it this long." Just imagine if you was just out of the kindness of your heart, you was just buying one of your coworkers lunch every day. You did it every day for like 2 weeks in a row, right? You just bought one of your "Hey man, I got your lunch today, man. I got your lunch today. I got every day you do that." And then that one day you don't. "Hey man, where my lunch? I see you over there eating. Oh, it's like that now. So what I did to you? What I did? You wouldn't got your lunch, but you didn't give me nothing. People actually will go off like that instead of saying, well, man, this person been buying me lunch for free just because, just showing love, just on a GP. Um, so if the day comes where they just decide not to, for whatever reason, that's not a word that should come out of my mouth. I go, okay, well, you didn't get it today. I mean, as a matter of fact, I should now be trying to go out of my way to reciprocate that act. Man, you know what? Let me get your lunch for the next 2 weeks. See? But when you're not lined up right, you start to feel like the person, like you are doing that person a favor to let them do things for you. And there are people who move like that. There are people who actually treat you as if it should be an honor and a privilege for you to do things for them. Because they're taking advantage of your good heart. They're taking advantage of your good nature and your kindness. And they will abuse that. So you find yourself being punished for being a good person, punished for being good, penalized for being good, talked about when you decide to cut the water off. Or even if you don't cut it off, you may, this time the sandwich had pickles on it and you told them you didn't like pickles. So that they going off on you. You got to be careful with that, and you got to make the decision to not let people do you like that, because again, like I said in the beginning of this video, you know what your true intentions are, but more importantly, God knows what your true intentions are. So once those two things are in place, then I don't have to explain nothing to you. I don't have to give any explanation. I don't have to answer to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion behind how I move when I know that my movement had no ill will towards you. Had no ill will towards you when I made whatever move I made, whatever statement I made. See? So I know some of y'all are dealing with that right now. Some of y'all are feeling like, man, no matter what I do, this man, no matter what I do, he just never satisfied. He always finds something wrong with it, and all I'm trying to do is bend over backwards to do this. That's the problem. You need to stop bending over backwards to help ungrateful people, to help ungrateful individuals. We live in a society that's the same way. People out here doing charitable work. People out here trying to help the community, and the more they out here trying to push and help the community, the more that the powers that are in place try to create roadblocks for them, to make it more difficult. Well, no, you can't do that because you got to do this and you got to do that. Meanwhile, they are the very ones who really have been entrusted to make those type of power moves on a community level, and they won't even do it. And it seems like they continue to move on and move on, so you get frustrated as a person that's trying to do good and feel like, man, seems like the bad people continue to get the blessings. Now they're not getting the blessing, they just getting set up for a bigger fall. So continue to do good. Don't ever let the negativity of people who don't appreciate your good prevent you from continuing to do the good. Don't let that happen. Stay on it. All right, man. It's your big brother K-Rino. I hope this helped somebody. I hope this brought a little understanding to y'all. Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to my podcast channel, the Underground Dialogue Podcast. And I'll catch y'all later on. Peace.